Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having a good Monday wherever you're coming in from. I'm from Ventura County, California, and we've got two awesome people with us today. It's my first time having them on, so it's kind of cool. Scott Connors, where are you out of?
I'm hanging in Columbus, Ohio.
And tell me a little bit about you.
Sure thing. So 17-year veteran of the business, been a producing agent for that long, still in production. And last year founded RealOS, which is a company that services Lofty users with CRM setup and coaching, consulting, and all kinds of stuff we do.
Dude, you make our lives easier.
We sure try to.
I like that, man. Very, very cool. And then we've got Catherine Roberts with Lofty. Where are you out of, Catherine?
Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh,
which is also where we're headquartered. So yeah. Yep, I'm home.
I like it. And then what is your job duty there?
Yeah, so I am a senior marketing manager at Lofty. I've been with the company for 5 years, going on 6, which is quite a long time. And I get to create really cool content, such as webinars like this. So typically I'm behind the scenes, but today I'm stepping out in front of the camera.
I like it. All right, let's talk about how to become the go-to agent. And it makes sense that we have Scott on too, because if you don't set up Lofty right from the very beginning, I can tell you from experience, you're going to be lost and you don't know what to do, where things are going. So, Catherine, where do you want to start with this one?
Yeah, so I'm going to start by sharing my screen real fast so we can have some visual details here, because I'm super pumped about what we're talking about today. But before we go into what those 4 moves are to win your market, I wanted to start off by framing it and telling a story. Because although I work in real estate, at the end of the day, I'm still a buyer too. 2 years ago, I was a first-time home buyer. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know the process. This was all very new to me, even though that I'm in the industry, right? And there were a couple things that me and my partner were really important to us when we were choosing an agent. Because yeah, we wanted our dream home, but really it was more than that, right? We just didn't want the dream home. We wanted to have a certain lifestyle, the one that we were used to, and we wanted to continue with that. We had the future in mind, right? We were wanting to start a family, and all of those things needed to be taken into account. And we wanted to work with someone who truly understood and embodied that. So ultimately, what led us to choosing the agent that we did was someone who could give us that information. We went with someone who knew the neighborhood. Her mom lived in the area, had businesses in the area. She knew this place like the back of her hand. So she was someone who was going to be able to really help paint that picture for both of us and provide those things that we were looking for. So
I'm curious. Like, I know you'll get to this, but I'm curious about knew the neighborhood. I want to know how you got there. But first, let me just say hello to a few people that are jumping in. Mike Anderson, Atlanta, what's up? Jim, Vancouver. Lofty does work in Canada. That's a number one question we get. Shay, Santa Cruz. I love Santa Cruz. Anthony Parker. If there's something wrong with my feed, no, just log off, log back on, and it'll work perfectly. Tammy Van Cleve, Minnesota. I don't even know where that is, but that sounds beautiful. And everybody else, welcome. All right, back to you. Just wanted to say hello to you.
Yeah, of course. Hello to everybody too, right? So really what it starts with is it starts with your website. This is going to be the key component and really being able to showcase that you are that expert in your neighborhood. 100% of buyers and sellers, they use the internet for their home search at some point in their journey. And I want to show you an example of what this could really look like for your business. So let me go ahead and step over to show you what a hyperlocal website would look like. And this is something that Lofty actually offers. It's called the hyperlocal website, and it's available right now. So not only are you going to get a beautiful website, but there are some key features here that when you scroll down really sets you apart and positions you that way. The very first one is going to be this interactive map, which is so cool because it gives you a quick little look at the area. And then when you click on it, it's going to go into those neighborhood pages. And it's going to really give you that snapshot of what it could look like if you live here. It gives you a short little description here just to kind of set the scene. And then when you start diving into it, it's going to answer those questions for you that every buyer is asking, right? If you're someone who let's say looking at top school districts, right? That's important to you. You like restaurants. You want to be next to your favorite stores. You need to be next to a Trader Joe's. Whatever it may be, this can help showcase that for you. And when you start going down into the details, it's going to give you that data, which is super cool. If you're maybe right, if you're like a young couple and you are looking to meet new people and you want to see if there's a lot of people in your age group that's going to live there, well, this is going to give you that. And again, with the schools, like for me, this was really important because I wanted to start a family. I needed to know what schools were around. And as I mentioned, Trader Joe's was a really important thing. So it was able to showcase all of those restaurants and shopping because that was part of our lifestyle and we wanted to keep that going, right? Now, I'm going to stop right here because Scott, you are someone who lives this every day, right? And you were actually born and raised in your market.
I was, and I think it's extremely powerful when you take, if this is the first impression people get, they're exploring the neighborhoods and they're learning about, you know, all the things you just covered. Then they connect with an agent who does live and again, born and raised in the area. Not only that, but I'm excited about the area. And so we went through a bit of a stretch lately where we've had a lot of relocation buyers coming into our market. And, you know, it's one thing to talk about, you know, school ratings or local restaurants. But I think there's an enthusiasm that you can't hold back when you really are excited about where you live. And I found myself in a lot of conversations with prospective buyers where I feel like I'm the Chamber of Commerce more than a real estate agent. We're not even talking about specific properties. We're talking about, you know, the ongoing revitalization downtown and all the cool events that are happening that didn't happen, you know, 20 years ago in our area. So I think that having that local presence is huge.
Absolutely. So, and a lot of people have questions. Okay, well, how do people land on my website? How do they even find me there, right? With all of these features that are highlighting that you are the expert in your neighborhood, that is going to help. But this leads into, you got to create that content too, right? So even though these key things are living on your website, what is the type of content that you can create and what is going to help you get found? So this is going to lead to, you want to write blogs, right? And look, if you're not a writing wizard, if you have, writer's block, you can always use AI to help, right? And we actually do have an AI writing assistant inside the platform that can help with those things, such as market updates, home buyer guides. And this is valuable information that everybody is looking at. But what's going to really set you apart is you want to be specific about your area because that's how you're going to get found. And I know right now, SEO and AEO is a pretty big topic that's going on. SEO has been around for a little bit longer. AEO is the new kid on the block. So just a quick rundown what they are. SEO is going to be search engine optimization. So that's going to be geared towards Google. But a lot of buyers, they are going to be typing into search houses in XYZ city. And that's pretty broad, right? And also super competitive. And you have the big behemoths out there that they've done a really good job at, specializing in that and showing up first on the searches. So how can you show up on the searches? And it's going to be when you're specific about the neighborhood. So think about the answers to the questions that people want, right? So if someone is going to type in, is XYZ neighborhood a good school district? Or is XYZ neighborhood a good place to raise a family? You want to tailor your content around that because that is what's going to come up in the search engines there. AEO, again, like I said, it's a little bit of the new kid on the block, and this is going to be geared towards all of AI, right? So the ChatGPT, the Claudes, but a lot of buyers now are really starting to gravitate towards that because that's where they're going to get their their questions answered, right? So the really cool thing about this is because it's new, there is opportunity there. And if you're creating this content that is going to be for both, you get double the exposure for the same amount of content, which is pretty cool. And Scott, I know that you have experience with writing about your area, right? Because like you said, it's super cool.
Yeah, I love it. And, I happen to live in an area with a rich history, both architecturally and socially. I work a couple different markets. So the story I'm talking about now is in Wheeling, West Virginia, which is sort of a Rust Belt steel mill coal mine area historically. However, undergoing a huge revitalization in the last 5 to 10 years. And I've had great success writing articles, blog posts, as well as articles for local media about specific properties. Kind of flies in the face of some of the conventional wisdom where we want to depersonalize our listings and take down the family photos, right? We don't do that. We tell the stories. I once did a video with the homeowner talking about everything she loved about the home. And when you dive into that history, that gets a lot of attention, and it's a great way to drive traffic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I have a quick question for you. Since you've done this before, Scott, do you help us out? So, like, let's say we go to your company and we're with Lofty, and then we get the single area page or the niche specific website. Do you guys help build that out for us or guide us, or how do you work with that with us?
Oh, we've never been approached by Lofty to do that, but we're happy to.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of piecing them both together because one of the biggest challenges we have as real estate agents, because not only am I an agent, I ran a team for years, I still do. Now I opened up my own national brokerage, and we use Lofty for our whole brokerage. This is an issue. Like, as powerful as Lofty is, it's like, where do we start? Because agents, there's a button that says, here's where you start, this is not going to happen, right? So Scott, they need people like you. How do you go about helping people put something like this into place?
So I'd love to talk about the local neighborhood. And as far as helping Lofty build out that content, we'd love to do that. We generate a fair amount of content on our own, but if there's a way to tie that into the platform, yeah, let's talk. Let's make that happen.
All right.
We'll continue that conversation.
I'm marriage. All right, Catherine, go back to you.
All right. So this is probably the one that I'm most excited about. Also, being someone in marketing, social is just so exciting, so cool. There's a lot of flexibility with it. And one of the coolest things is this is a free organic way to grow your audience and really be able to position your message how you want it, right? And I do have a couple examples here of what I thought that agents that are being that neighborhood expert on some of the ways that they're utilizing social media to show that, right? Now, sometimes social media can be daunting to people because they think they just need to be on camera all the time, which is not the case, right? Now, that content does perform very, very well, but it's very easy to pack your social media with things that people want to see, but you don't necessarily need to take videos, although they perform very well, so I suggest it. But, new listings, any sort of educational resources, design tips, all of these can be static images or carousels that you can go ahead and put on. And if this still seems like, oh, I don't really know what to post, Social Agent and Lofty can do it for you. It can automatically generate those things, automate it, get it out there. So you have consistent content that's going out that is reaching your audience that can make it grow. But a tip that I have for agents is you're already out in the field, right? You're already going to coffee shops to have conversations with potential clients. You're already going to restaurants with your family, right? Just whip out your phone and take a quick video, and then now you have local content that you can show to your audience. So for example, I have someone here who's in mortgage. He likes to hike, so he wanted to showcase one of his favorite hiking trails outside the area, which I will probably be attending someday. Then you have another agent here who, she's talking about when she's not working or with her family, she loves the food scene in Scottsdale. So she's already going to all these restaurants. So she just took quick videos of all these restaurants, put it into one video. And now she's able to talk about the really cool food scene out there. And that can give people a better idea and picture of what their life could be if they moved to that area. And Scott, you did this, right? When you were out in the field and your video went viral?
Well, viral may be a little bit of a stretch for this one, but it went more viral than the rest of my videos. So the story is, this feels like antiquated advice, but I think it still holds true 100% today. And that is that if you want to see a video kind of go a little crazy, maybe semi-viral, the way to do that is to go make a whole bunch of videos because you don't know which one's going to go. I was in the habit of doing live walkthroughs on virtually every listing I had. And typically I might see 100, 200 views, nothing really to get too excited about, until the day came that I had a particularly interesting home that I almost didn't do the video. I was late for a meeting and I'm like, you know what, I'm here. I flip on the camera, let's go. And it was a very unpolished, in fact, I think it was a Facebook Live where I just flipped on the camera and started walking around talking about the video. That one went nuts. 25,000 views within the first week. It was a home that happened to have a lot of interest locally that had I not done it, wouldn't have gone. And the key is, it's not that I did that one, it's that I did the 150 leading up to that one to get to the one that's going to work, right? The only way to get that post to go nuts is to make a whole bunch of posts, because then you're going to find one that lands.
That's very true. I want to share something along those lines. I've got a friend who works in a niche area. I just remembered because, this whole thing is around the niche website. And you brought up something really good, Scott, that we really need to be providing content that's not just for your local listing, what's happening around here. And like you're showing, Catherine, a hidden natural paradise just outside of Phoenix. You're looping in things that are happening, things that are new, things that you should be doing in the area. I'm going to share a video with everybody. I won't share my screen, but she's a Lofty user. She's doing exactly what you're talking about. And you can see in that video, she just talked about Temecula has more than wine. These 3 brunch spots are locals' best kept secrets. And
see, that's what I'm talking about.
You take a look at the comments on this one, and you can see her TikTok isn't large, but now she's talking about things that are connecting with that local audience that Scott's talking about and that Catherine's showing on the screen. So I love that.
Yeah, like this.
Sorry, there's a secret trick in there too, Tristan, where when you make that video at the local winery or the local coffee shop and you tag the business owner and you tag the business, you then get exposed to their audience in addition to yours, and their audience might be much larger than yours. That business owner is probably going to share that post, right? Because they want that publicity. And so what a great way, especially for someone new or someone who doesn't have a huge social media footprint, what a great way to leverage someone else's audience to put eyeballs on your account.
Yeah, and to take it an extra step further, you're now building that rapport inside the community that you serve, right? So it's a win-win in just all the way around.
Absolutely.
All right, so the very last tip here, personalized outreach. And I'm not just talking about when you send an email inserting their name, right? I mean, like that's a standard practice that everybody should be doing, but there's really more to this, right? Because when you're servicing your clients, you want to give them information that they actually want and need, that's actually valuable to them. And really that all starts with the alerts, right? On new properties that match their criteria. But as anyone who's going through that home buying journey, your criteria is probably going to change once you start getting out there and looking at properties. Things that maybe you didn't realize that you liked or needed, they're going to pop up. So it is expected that those things are going to change. So what's an easy way to get that automated, have it update on their end, and really not have to make that a manual process? You can use AI to do that. Sales agent is constantly going to be interacting with the customers within Lofty. And so when they're sending information back saying, oh, well, maybe I need 4 bedrooms now, or I really want a pool or hardwood floors, whatever it is, right? That stuff can be updated on the back end without you having to manually do that. So you're actually sending them stuff that they really want to see. And even if you need to, provide valuable information for sellers, right? Because it's not just about buyers, it's about sellers too. You want to make sure that you're being in contact with them with that valuable information that they actually want to see. So, home reports can show this. So you can update them on the value of their home. Homeowner agent already does that, right? And that's all automated. I just saw a report the other day that my house has gained in a lot of value and only purchased it 2 years ago. Now, I'm not looking to sell anytime soon, but that's really valuable information to know. I didn't realize that.
It makes you happy inside.
It makes me feel like I definitely made the right choice in the neighborhood I picked. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And another key thing is you want to keep in contact after the sale, right? And you can do this a lot of different ways, with milestones, with house anniversaries, or again, back to social, keeping in contact, right? This this is actually my realtor who literally leaves a comment on every Instagram post that I make, and it warms my heart. Yesterday, she left me one for Mother's Day, but I bought a house from her 2 years ago, and she's still engaging with my content all the time, right? That's that love, that rapport that they're building. So now when I do think about selling my house because of the reports that she's sending me about how it's raised in value, there's no question about it. I'm automatically going to go to her. Right? So this is what those things can look like. That's super easy to implement.
Yeah, there's a trap here to avoid too, and your agent's doing a great job of avoiding it. And it's that stat that we always hear that none of us like at all, which is that when people go to list their homes, 75% of them don't call the agent who sold it to them. And the number one reason they give is they can't remember their name.
Oh, damn, dude.
I know. Does that
can't even Google them at that point?
But it's like, I always say, I remember their name. I remember 9 o'clock Sunday night negotiating their deal and working through bad home inspections. I remember everything about their transaction. But 3 years later, their life moved on.
Wait,
and don't remember me.
God, dude, I think now it might be easier, even though it'll still be hard. But you can go to like ChatGPT, be like, hey, here's the address of my home. Who was the real estate agent who sold my home? I don't remember.
Well, I think the trick is, or the challenge is, they don't care because we didn't build a relationship, right?
That's so
we
true.
thought we did, but when we get that commission check and never follow up, and full disclosure, I've failed at this for most of my career. It was only really when I started leaning into Lofty and getting all the systems in place that I fixed it. But I shudder to think at the money I left on the table because I simply didn't follow up. And what a tragedy. And we definitely have the tools in Lofty and on social media to make sure that never happens again.
Yeah, very key on that.
Yeah, and it helps grow the people that they can work with too, right? Like this realtor, not only is she mine, but she's my parents. My parents have bought multiple properties from her, right? So like,
wait, I have a question on that right there.
Yeah.
Is that how you got to using her?
Through my parents.
You asked your parents, and then your parents. Oh, look at that.
Because my mother was someone who went to her mother's businesses in the neighborhood.
Look at that.
That's beautiful. Actually,
yeah,
that's
it was really awesome how that worked. Yeah, which is like the story that everybody wants when they're going through this journey, right? Because although that people can be found online, and again, that's how you want to position yourself as a neighborhood expert. But sometimes fun stories like that happen too.
I have a question for you. Since you're in the marketing world with Lofty, you may be able to answer this one. I'm going to put this up on the screen, okay? Because I know that we as a brokerage give Lofty to everybody, but I've also had to pay extra for the AI stuff, right? That you guys added. So how would you answer that one for Mike?
Yeah, it all depends on the brokerage that you're with and what they offer to their agents, because every brokerage is going to be different on those options that they want to offer. So I know that nobody likes that answer, but it just depends. If you do have more questions about that, you can always reach out to us and we can give you those details on who you're with and what we provide for them.
Mike, what I would also do, just to layer one more thing on top of that, is once you're ready to go and you understand, let me stop sharing that one. Once you're ready to go and you're like, I think I know which direction I want to go with Lofty, I think the next natural step would be to get someone like Scott to then take a look at everything and say, well, let me finish setting this up for you to enhance your opportunities. And I'm telling you, I mean, this is my first time talking to Scott, right? But I'm telling you, because this is where agents fail dramatically when they use Lofty. Lofty is so powerful. Most agents don't know where to start, even though there's a clear indication. Now there's even AI. Hey, where do I start? But they just won't do it. So what I would do, everybody who's listening here, I would go to Scott and be like, Scott, help me set this crap up right. Like, put my smart plans where they need to be. Can you take a look at my websites to make sure they're optimized? What am I missing that I should maybe add on from Lofty? Because I don't understand the difference between this and that. That's how I would use Scott. And then with Catherine, I would definitely start outlining, well, what areas do I need to niche down on that I cover? Because the world that we're coming into now is more niche down than ever before. And all of a sudden, blogs and content on your website matter again. I feel like I'm in the 1990s. I'm like, what just happened? Right?
Yeah. And there's a lot of content there that the agent can do on their own, right? So like the social media, the blogs, all of those things. But as far as the website goes, with that hyperlocal website, our team will set that up for you. So, if you have your area and your neighborhoods, great, we got it from there. And we can go ahead and build out all of those neighborhood pages and make it all super hyperlocal for them.
This is more of a comment, but it's a long one. First off, what's up, David? Second, my Lofty seems to be fairly locked down. Probably more like mine, David. Let's see where we go. I've used it before outside of this brokerage and really liked it, but that was a few years prior to. So unsure if apples to apples comparison. I'm either going to pay to upgrade and a full access. I can already answer this. Upgrade. Upgrade, please, because you're going to unlock so many more things when you upgrade. Because it sounds like, David, you're a power user, or you were a power user and you're going back to it. Upgrade. Once you upgrade, then you can take a look at either jumping in with Scott, doing it on your own, or just calling up Lofty and being like, where do I go?
Yeah, and we're also trying to give everybody the best platform possible, right? So we're constantly innovating and adding new things, paying attention to the market. What do agents need? What do teams need, right? So the system that you were using prior is probably not something that what Lofty looks like today.
Got it. Makes sense. And if I want to get a hold of, I put up a link here for Lofty. Go to go.lofty.com. Everyone scan that QR code. But Scott, I have a question for you. If people want to get a hold of you, where do they go?
Sure. So our website is real simple. It's realos.pro. So realos.pro.
Really quick, what would I expect if I was talking to you and your team? What do you guys specialize in?
So our specialty, and first of all, I appreciate the plug earlier. That was very generous of you. What we do, honestly, is we fill the gap between the brilliant software engineers at Lofty and the agents out there in the field. We are the agents who are using the system at a high level, but it's boots on the ground, real world application of this amazing platform they've offered us. And that's really what we do, is we help agents take this tool and put it into play every day in their business and make more money with it.
All right, perfect. So I was right on when I was talking about what we would do. Perfect. I like it. All right, Catherine, there's the QR code. Everyone just scan it, please, if you're not part of this, or if you want to just upgrade. I know we have a few agents that upgraded from our brokerage because they run teams and they do a lot more. They run ads. So they just want to see everything on their side fully. But Catherine, anything else in closing?
I think I got it.
You did.
I think you allowed me to get everything that I wanted into those 4 steps. We ran through it.
I loved the examples. I loved how you brought in the website world, SEO, partially AEO as well, and then you also showcased social, which you kind of showed the whole thing, and then you added the human aspect to it, which I think sometimes we've forgotten lately.
Yeah.
There's so much AI out there. You help. That's why I asked the question. Like, wait a second, were you referred by your mom to this agent, and then this agent is staying on top of it? Like, that's beautiful to see.
Yeah, like AI at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? It can help you. It adds to you. It does not replace you. It just makes you a little bit more efficient. You still want to have those relationships. That's why people use real estate agents, right? I don't want to go in cold. I don't know what I'm doing. I want someone to help me, again, really paint that picture and show me that lifestyle that I want to live. Oh, I actually have another personal tidbit to this that you might love.
Sure.
So the house that we ended up going with, when we were viewing it, there was a nursery in the house. And again, like, we wanted to start a family. We bought that house, and that room happens to be the nursery. So like, when I tell you she really painted the picture, like, that is what like agents want to do for their clients, right?
She understood your vision too.
She understood everything, the whole list.
I love that. Good story. Everyone else, thank you so much. This is brought to you by Lofty and our visitor, Scott from RealOS. I put up the link there too. If you have questions or you want your Lofty set up extremely well, that's where you go to. Catherine, thanks so much. It was great doing this for the first time with you. I expect more of these.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it.
These are awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see what we got. Maybe a couple of questions. Anthony Parker, does RealOS train agents in Lofty? Scott?
That's exactly what we do. Yes, sir.
Perfect. All right, then Anthony, jump over there. Say hi to Scott for me. Catherine, everybody else, have an awesome day. Thanks, everybody.